This is RTV6 News at 6, working for you.
Now at 6 o'clock, it's where you can find help with no questions asked. We'll share the story of a place where people are finding nourishment, plus the personal reason it was opened. Plus, the big game is about to kick off, and a woman with deep ties to Indiana is about to make history. More coming up on how she overcame discrimination from her alma mater to make it to the sideline of the Super Bowl. Good evening, and thanks for joining us here at 6 o'clock. I'm Nicole Griffin. Well, February has arrived. The groundhogs have made their forecast, and today it almost felt like an early, windy spring day. Storm Team 6 meteorologist Kyle Mounts standing by. And Kyle, what a beautiful Sunday.
Yeah, Nicole, we had that wind, but otherwise beautiful, and with the sunshine and those breezy conditions, it was a record setter. Our temperature in Indianapolis made it all the way to 63. The previous record, 61 there, set not too long ago in 2016, and we have that beautiful sunshine and sunset there. Temperatures still sitting in the 50s, even 60 degrees for you right now in Martinsville, 57 in downtown, and close to 60 in Muncie and Bloomington right now at 58. Yeah, it's been a little breezy, but you can start to see that those wind gusts are tapering off. Still a gust of 25 miles per hour in Muncie and over 20 miles per hour in the Columbus area, but we continue with very quiet conditions here, and I do think those winds will continue to taper off here with mostly clear skies in place. So as we go through the next several hours, those clear skies will allow temperatures to fall back into the middle and upper 40s by 10 o'clock. So cool, but we'll call it February nice for this time of year. We'll take you through your Monday in just a few minutes.
All right, Kyle, thank you. Well, new tonight, Metro Police say they have suspects in custody after an exchange of gunfire involving a police officer. Here's where this went down around 7 this morning. IMPD says an officer tried to pull over a suspect near East 10th and North Tuxedo Streets. That's when someone inside the car being pulled over fired shots at the officer. The officer was not hit and returned fire. No injuries were reported, and police tell us they arrested the driver and a passenger in the car. Their names have not been released. On the west side of Indianapolis, one person is dead after an early morning shooting. This happened just after midnight on Rockville Road, just west of Holt Road. Police say an officer called to the scene found a person suffering from a gunshot wound. That shooting victim later died. So far, police have not released the person's identity. And that is the third homicide in Indy this weekend. Last night, 2 people were shot and killed near 19th and Audubon Road on the east side. That's between Ritter and Arlington Avenue. A man and a woman died in that shooting. And police are still looking for suspects. If you have any information on either of these shootings, you can leave an anonymous tip with Crime Stoppers at 317-262-TIPS. In southern Indiana, police are still investigating a crash involving a train and a car that left a woman dead and 2 people injured. Scott County Sheriff's deputies were called Saturday evening to the area of Christie Road in US 31. Deputies say 22-year-old Stephanie Trabu of Scottisburg died in the crash. A 20-year-old and a 17-year-old were critically injured and were flown to the University of Louisville Hospital for treatment. Indiana State Police are still looking into what caused that crash. A food pantry that opened during a critical time is celebrating its 1-year anniversary. No Questions Asked Pantry first started helping families during the government shutdown. As RTV6's Troy Washington shows us, there's still a need to fill, and volunteers are trying to make sure they are here to keep helping.
Dimes, quarters, nickels, or pennies. Here, every piece of change equals change for No Questions Asked Pantry. It takes $300 to $500 a week to keep the pantry open. The initiative is going 1 year strong, but it takes continuous effort to stay stocked up. To mark the milestone, today volunteers got together to remember how the pantry got its start. An idea born out of wanting to help those working people being slammed by last year's government shutdown.
This is why we do this. This is why we're here.
Amber Toombs is the volunteer coordinator for the pantry. Far before coming on board to help No Questions Asked, she discovered just how important food pantries are in any community.
For me, it was my own need. I struggled a lot in college, and this is just me wanting to give back and help those in the city.
Out of that need, a passion was born. A want, or will rather, to help others struggling to balance paying bills while trying to put food on the table.
People depend on the pantry. Most of the people that come in are just everyday working people who are maybe like they spent all their money on their mortgage, or they spent, you know, all their money supplying for their kids, and it's just they have nothing left. They don't have money for food.
She says soon this birthday celebration will end, but the work to help feed families never stops, and she intends to keep that going as long as there are those in need. Working for you, Troy Washington, RTV6.
Troy, thank you. If you would like to help the No Questions Asked Pantry, you can find out how by clicking on this story on the RTV6 app or the IndyChannel.com. Coming up tonight on the news at 11, Troy will explain why the pantry runs in memory of Aaron Bailey, who was fatally shot by IMPD officers in 2017. This evening, 2 more cases of coronavirus in the U.S. have now been confirmed. Also tonight, U.S. officials are taking more action to keep the disease that originated in China out of the country. The U.S. has temporarily closed its doors to any foreign national who recently traveled to China. That order took effect just over an hour ago. The latest cases of the virus in the U.S. were reported in Massachusetts and in Santa Clara, California. Health officials and others say the risk for the public is still minimal.
There's no fear right now of coronavirus as far as spreading to the city of Boston or to my knowledge, to Commonwealth of Massachusetts.
So far, the virus has made more than 14,000 people sick worldwide. At least 300 deaths have been reported in China.
I'm not trying to be the best female coach. I'm trying to be the best coach. Exactly. All it takes is one. All it takes is one, and then it opens the door for so many.
She is making history right now. Katie Sowers not only coaching in the Super Bowl tonight, but she also has her own Super Bowl commercial. Microsoft is highlighting the assistant coach for the San Francisco 49ers, who also has deep ties to Indiana. Sowers played 3 sports at Goshen College in Elkhart County. She also made news when she was told she could not become a coach at the Christian college because she is gay. The college's president recently issued a formal apology to Sowers for that discrimination that happened in 2009. High-tech help for investigators. Next, we'll take a look at what one sheriff's office now has that gives detectives a new way of looking at crashes and crimes. It could be another step toward homes for the homeless. We'll update you on a plan that would mean a small roof over the heads of people who may not have one right now. Kyle.
Feeling like spring right now, but we could be going from the 60s to snow. I'll have a closer look at this timeline and when those snowflakes could fly. You're watching RTV6 News at 6.
This is RTV6 News at 6, working for you.
The Johnson County Sheriff's Office has a new piece of technology that they say will help them clear crash and crime scenes a lot faster and also help the investigation process. Our Kelsey Anderson is working for you to find out how the department paid for the equipment, plus how it can benefit you.
So it shows the length is 20.60 feet between that spot in the bumper and the front of that bumper.
Chief Deputy Andy Barnhart is excited about the county's newest piece of technology.
Faro 3D scanner.
The new scanner is designed to help investigators get a 360 view of a crash or crime scene and finish the process more quickly.
The way we do it now, we have a laser data collector machine, and it involves taking a reflector and holding it at important points on the scene. With that technology, it usually takes several hours, 3 or 4 hours sometimes, to do a crash scene, and then we're only collecting a few dozen measurements. With this new technology, we'll be able to collect tens of thousands of points of measurement.
Barnhart showed me how it works with this simulated crash. The picture looks pixelated, but he says it's actually not, and what you were seeing are all the measurements the Faro scanner took. He says the new technology won't just benefit the department, but the entire community.
If it's a criminal case, if there's alcohol involved or something like that, where someone's going to be charged with a crime related to a crash, then this will help recreate that scene in the software for court, because we can do fly-throughs and 3D model recreations, things like that really help the judge or jury visualize.
Obviously, a piece of equipment like this isn't cheap. It's actually in the range of about $60,000. But Barnhart says they didn't have to touch their own budget to get it.
We spoke to our county commissioners, and they actually had a chunk of money put aside for technology-related improvements within various departments, and that was coming out of a bond, and they decided to let us use that bond money to pay for this. So.
That was our Kelsey Anderson reporting. Well, tonight the effort continues on the city's west side to provide a safe place for people transitioning out of homelessness. In November, we told you about plans to build a tiny house village on South Lyndhurst Drive near Morris Street. Well, today we met with leaders for the Circle City Villages who say they are making progress. They're hoping to build 28 tiny homes on land donated by Lyndhurst Baptist Church. It will be a safe place for people making the transition to stay, a place that will help them get back on their feet.
Looking at initially 2 years, but if over the course of time, if they're a good resident, they need to stay longer, we're happy to have them a bit longer as needed. So allow them time to look at employment, look at going back to school, and time just to feel safe and not have to be exposed to the elements and wonder where they're going to be sleeping that night.
In order to move forward, they need to raise $10,000. They have started a GoFundMe page for donations. Money will help them pay for fees they need to apply for permits to rezone the property and eventually help develop the land. Leaders say donations are critical right now to start this process. We do have a link up right now on the RTV6 app with this story to the GoFundMe page. Today, a dump truck driver is being honored here in Indianapolis for his quick thinking that ultimately helped save lives. In August, William Honey of Greencastle pulled his truck into a construction zone on I-65 near Lafayette Road, blocking a wrong-way driver. The driver was driving in closed lanes, approaching construction crews. Honey's quick thinking helped stop the driver as the man, who was later determined to be intoxicated, crashed into the front of his truck.
My coworker, she called out on the radio, said, hey, there's a police chase going backwards in the construction zone. And I knew that about 100 yards behind me, there was a paving crew, 2 paving crews going side by side. And so I just, I happened to be the right person at the right time. That's all it really was. So I just put my truck in sideways like a barricade, so that way he couldn't go any further.
Wow. Well, the state police officer and the construction crew there that night attended today's ceremony where he was honored at a local union meeting. Honey says it was heartwarming to see them again today and know that everyone is alive and safe. Now to your Storm Team 6 forecast. We're taking a live look outside on this Sunday evening, and we couldn't have asked for a better Sunday. Kyle, it is beautiful outside.
Great looking sunset there. We got just a few clouds instead of the gray skies we've had the last several days. Lots of sunshine out there today, and temperatures, they responded to that. Warming more than 20 degrees in some spots than where they were 24 hours ago. We're sitting at numbers in the 50s across central Indiana, 58 in Bloomington, 57 in Indy, and even the lower 50s around the Peru and Logansport area. Temperatures will slowly slide back here as we go through the next 12 hours and during the overnight through the 40s and into the 30s by tomorrow morning. That's not bad, though, considering our average high is in the middle 30s. As we look to TrueCast, I still think we're going to have those mostly sunny skies as we start off your Monday. We go to the middle of the day, we start to see those clouds increasing once again. And as we go into the evening, we'll have mostly cloudy skies. Still a few breaks of sunshine here and there, but it is going to be a dry day and another mild day for us as well. Even with the cloud cover around, temperatures will get to 50 degrees for your lunch hour and back around 60 for that afternoon high. A little breezy, but not as gusty as what we had today. Tomorrow we'll have those south winds about 5 to 15 miles per hour, and that will get our temperature right at 60 in Indianapolis, 62 in Columbus, middle 50s around Lafayette, and 58 in Muncie. So close again to another record. May not quite get there tomorrow because of the increasing clouds. On Tuesday, we've got clouds. We also have some rain. We'll have scattered showers throughout the day, not particularly heavy. But you'll notice what happens with the temperatures. We start off mild around 50 degrees, and those numbers will slowly be sliding back here as we go throughout the day. And as the colder air continues to move in, things get a little interesting heading into Tuesday night. This is Tuesday morning, though. You can see the rain that we'll be dealing with. Then as we get into the evening hours and the overnight, cold enough that we start to see a little bit of a wintry mix. Should be fairly light Tuesday night into Wednesday morning. Still, though, could have a few slick spots out there. And then it's going to be an active period of weather because already by Wednesday night, next system is moving in. There's some considerable differences in the track of this one. This particular model would take most of the snow north. Another one could bring some accumulating snow to much of central Indiana going into our Thursday. So stay tuned for updates on that one. 7-day forecast, again, starting off mild, but those temperatures will fall. It gets a little more active for us, and those highs are a little more seasonal as we round out the week with highs in the middle 30s. We'll be close to 40 again next weekend.
It was funny getting on Twitter, Instagram today. All anyone was talking about was, oh, sun, finally.
Loved it. Yeah, we've been so deprived here lately, and the 60s were a bonus.
Thank you so much, Kyle. Well, the sprint to the finish is on for the Democratic presidential candidates in Iowa. Tomorrow's caucuses, there are the first votes of the 2020 campaign. It could determine whether former South Bend Mayor Pete Buttigieg has a chance to move forward with momentum. And as ABC's Marcy Gonzalez tells us, the last major poll before Iowa voters caucused was scrapped after complaints from the Buttigieg campaign.
Presidential candidates making their closing arguments to Iowa voters.
We legitimately have a chance to advance the human condition.
With the crucial first caucuses of the election cycle now just 1 day away.
Now is the time for action. Action is tomorrow night.
Senators Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren speaking to overflow crowds.
The bad news is there's no more room inside. The good news is there's no more room inside. Sounds like to me that Iowa's ready for some big structural change.
Many voters saying their presence at campaign events across the state today.
I need your help because I know I can build the coalition to win.
It's not necessarily a sign of support.
I have not made up my mind for sure, and this is part of my process to determine who I think deserves my vote.
Candidates now using every possible minute of this home stretch of the Iowa campaign trail to win over those undecided voters.
If you stand with me, we'll end Donald Trump's reign of hatred and division. Begin to unify this country.
We believe we're the best campaign to go out there and beat Donald Trump. This is our first chance to begin to prove it, and it all starts with the caucuses.
But Senators Klobuchar, Warren, and Sanders all announcing they plan to fly to Washington this evening for President Trump's impeachment trial and then turn around and come right back to Iowa before tomorrow night's caucus results start coming in. Marcy Gonzalez, ABC News, Des Moines, Iowa.
Marcy, thank you. The Pacers will have to take the floor without one of their top scorers this season. Coming up, why he will be out at least for tomorrow night and possibly even longer.
We're made for USAA.
Some tough news for a man whose scoring has been a spark plug for the Pacers this season. TJ Warren has been ruled out of tomorrow night's game against the Dallas Mavericks because of a concussion. Here is where the injury happened last night. Julius Randle of the Knicks drives the lane. Warren, playing defense on the play, falls hard to the floor, hitting his head. He left the game and would not return. So far, the Pacers have not announced how much time Warren could miss. The game against the Mavericks tips off at 7 o'clock tomorrow night at Bankers Life Fieldhouse. The first Grand Slam tennis tournament of the year went the distance and ended with a record. Novak Djokovic was down 2-1 to Dominic Thiem of Austria in today's final in Melbourne. But Djokovic completed a rally by taking the final set 6-4. He has won a record 8 Australian Open titles, and he now has 17 Grand Slam singles titles in all, trailing only Roger Federer and Rafael Nadal on the all-time list. Congratulations. Well, coming up, the end of an inspiring journey by a veteran, and one final check of your forecast when the News at 6 continues.
We fly.
An update to a story we brought you last night. Military veteran Dustin Johnson set out to run 100 miles to bring awareness to issues impacting all veterans. Our camera was there to capture him complete that incredible journey. Johnson completed what's known as the Taji 100, named for a former base in Iraq. Normally, veterans run the 100 miles over the entire month of February, but Johnson thought he could raise more awareness by pushing past the pain and finishing his run in just 1 day.
Thanks everybody for the support. It was rough that last 15 miles or so, but we did it together as a family, as a tribe. I couldn't have done it without you guys.
A reminder, Dustin was running in part to bring attention to the problem of military veterans taking their own lives. If you know someone who might need help, the number for the National Suicide Prevention Line is on your screen. It's 800-273-8255. And Kyle, too bad he wasn't running today. It was a lot nicer.
Yeah, but incredible, and congratulations to him. Tomorrow we get another very nice day. 60 will be the afternoon high. Then on Tuesday we'll have some showers. Temperatures start to fall from there.
All right, Kyle, thank you so much. And thank you for joining us. We'll see you back here tonight at 11. Have a great night.